Order. Chairman, you go.
Yes, I would like also to call the meeting of the Osceola Community College Board of Trustees to order. And one comment I would like to make before we start is what I told you earlier, in that in 1963, Judge Forrest Ivy Robertson, who was district court judge, was asked by this group, your predecessors, to determine with a committee if this was an area which could house one of those newfangled community colleges. Now, he came back within a few months with his committee and made a report, and it was reported in the local newspaper that they had said this would be a great area for a community college and even a university. And so within a year, isothermal, and it was the help of the Board of Commissioners. There were 2 votes during that year, and all kinds of things that happened. But about a year later, in 1964, we were created. Isothermal Community College was created as the, I think, 28th of the now 58 community colleges. So we have a long history with this group, and we've always cooperated, and we're going to continue to do that. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Commissioner, before you, the next item is agenda approval. What's the will of the board?
Motion we approve the agenda.
Second.
Got a motion second. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the question. All in favor, raise your right hand. Any opposed, likewise. The agenda has been approved. Commissioners, next item is 4133. This is the joint budget meeting with the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners and the Isothermal Community College Board of Trustees, and I'd like to welcome all of you here. And I think you're presenting to us your narrative and your budget requests for this upcoming season. So, you all.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be with you this evening. We appreciate the opportunity to have a conversation about how we support continued education, and specifically education with a focus on workforce development and family-sustaining wages for all members of our community. This evening, as we come together, I am pleased to share with you that we've seen increasing enrollment at the college. This is our second year of significant increase. Last year, we saw approximately 10% increase in our full-time equivalency enrollment, which is certainly related to our state funding, but obviously, we serve those students in our facilities on campus, and we're grateful to the commissioners for the support that you provide for our capital funding and for our facilities operations. As we serve those students, we saw a second increase this year of an additional 5%. So we are making changes intentionally through the college programs and the ways in which we offer opportunities to our community members, to give all members of the community the opportunity to seek out new skills or to return and upskill to continue to advance their careers. We recognize students who are currently enrolled in high school are expected to change careers, not just jobs, but to change careers between 5 and 7 times over the course of their life. It's a little difficult for someone like me who is kind of focused on the same career, although in different places, to imagine. But our job is to make sure that we're preparing those individuals for these careers. With that said, I present to you our budget for our facilities. This is for our physical plant services for the college at our Spindale campus. And as you'll note, looking through the requested items, you will see that there are some increases this year. Those increases are driven by 4 primary sources. Repairs to facilities. With aging facilities, we certainly continue to see escalations in cost of repair and minor equipment that is related to those repairs. The third would be electricity. We're seeing continued uses of electricity as we're powering our buildings and experiencing the same increases that we're seeing in other areas of the community. And insurance cost. And not unrelated to the work that we all do is this increasing cost of cybersecurity insurance to ensure that we are keeping our data secure, that we are protecting the data of the students and the community members that we serve. So those are the four primary drivers for our operational budget increase. And that increase does demonstrate 7.8% over last year's allocation. So we are requesting an increase of $236,000 roughly, a total operational request for our fiscal plant services of $3,263,017. That is related to our operations. I'd also like to share with you a couple of capital requests. This is specific to the quarter-cent sales tax that was passed by the commissioners years ago, specifically to support capital construction and renovation specific to public education that included both Rutherford County Schools and Isothermal Community College. And we have been very intentional in trying to manage those costs as much as possible internally or through other fund sources. For example, we're currently constructing a new Health and Sciences Center. I'm sure all of you are aware of that. We're very excited about that, what that will bring to our campus, but especially to our community in preparing a skilled workforce focused on healthcare fields. In securing that project, our first focus was on looking for funds not coming from Rutherford County. The reason for that is we recognize the tremendous needs that exist in Rutherford County and the obligations that you have in trying to address those needs. And so we started with asks to other entities. We were pleased to secure a $30 million appropriation from the General Assembly, the North Carolina General Assembly, in 2023. They provided in the fiscal year 24 a $10 million appropriation, and in the current fiscal year an additional $20 million appropriation to largely meet the need of that new facility. With increasing cost, as everything does, we found that we needed additional funds. So we have engaged private donors and other funding sources and raised an additional nearly $2 million from those sources, bringing us to $32 million for our project. And so as we look at the cost of the facility and the infrastructure, including the fixtures, furnishings, and equipment to prepare those students with the skills they need in healthcare fields, a shortfall of $4 million. So we do include this evening a request from the specific capital fund set aside by the quarter-cent sales tax that you consider a $4 million appropriation for the Health and Sciences Center. Additionally, we had in fall of 24 a facilities comprehensive assessment program conducted by the State Construction Office. Because of our aging facilities, we felt it was appropriate to have state facility auditors to come in. They're engineers and able to look at the facilities themselves, including all of our systems, HVAC systems, electrical systems, all of our kind of required infrastructure to ensure that the buildings are both safe and efficient in meeting the needs of the community. And in doing so, they provided a report that indicated a need that was north of $49 million of repair and renovation. I'm happy to share with you that we are not asking you for that amount this evening. However, we would request consideration of the funding from the capital fund, from the quarter-cent sales tax, to support that that need as well. We'd like to tackle about $4 million of that in the current fiscal year. If we break that out, obviously over time, some things will get more expensive, other things are going to need to be replaced before we get to that point. but we are trying to break that into reasonable and manageable approach. These would be non-recurring dollars because they're capital. So we recognize the demand over time on the county budget. I'd like to invite our finance chair, Dave Hunt, to share his thoughts as well.
Yep. Let's see, a couple of the possibly glaring numbers would be in salaries, top of plant operations. So salaries, maintenance / operations. It went from $765,000 down to $453,000. This is in part that janitorial services are moving forward. We're going with a third-party contractor to take care of the janitorial and those operations. And the price tag looks a little hefty over there, $475,000 versus what we saved over there. But this goes back into insurance, liability, and that by utilizing a third-party janitorial team, we have a contract with them. They provide their own HR, they provide their own insurance and hiring and firing. So this is how we thought best to move forward. This was a vote taken by the general trustees. So we've got that. Electricity, as you see down here in plant operations, item 533300, went from $505,000 last year to $550,000 this year. And that's even with, as we replace light fixtures, as we replace items within the campus, and all of the street lights in the campus are now LED. We're moving forward with energy savings. It's just, at the end of the day, electricity is going up, and even the citizens of this county know that they've seen their private electricity bills go up. Therefore, it's inescapable, but we are doing the best we can to be as worthy of the stewardship that has been given us here. Let's see, in insurance, the bottom under general institution, that went from $200,000 to $241,608. And again, this is just a fact of life. This is a fact of the last years of inflation and so on and so forth. We have made a plan a couple of years ago, 2-3 years ago. We took a look and had an FRP on our insurance policy for the ICC, and I found in business it's always been a good thing to take a look back every 2-3 or at worst 4 years to take a look at the insurance policies. What can we get? What's our current coverage? Are we covered for cybersecurity, et cetera, like that? And by putting it out for bid for proposal, this this forces our potential insurance company as well as our current insurance company to sharpen their pencils and give us the best deal and the best insurance. So that's in the offing. It has not been voted on yet, but I've been counseled that it is on one of the future agendas here as we move forward. So again, back to stewardship, the best use of our money and funding here at the college. I think you're in good hands. We've got a good finance committee. It's good to see that we have more people on the committee now. And as an FYI, I was kind of bullied into this only because I have a finance degree as well as an MBA, and I was honored. Frankly, I kid a little bit, but I was honored to take the chairmanship of the finance committee, and that's pretty much all I have. If anybody has questions, please feel free.
Are there any questions from the board members?
Well, thank you.
Okay. So my understanding right now, you have two critical capital needs that you're facing. You have the $4 million for the new health science building. But then the other item, you mentioned $4 million, and of that $4 million, is that of that list, did you say it was 47 or 49?
It was just north of $49 million.
49 million, so it's 49 million, $50 million. But this $4 million, is that like the most critical that you have in the list of?
Those are level one priority items. Some of those are, safety, life safety issues like fire systems. Obviously some electrical repair, replacement. So we've identified the most critical needs. That would get us through, with additional state dollars that we have through state construction infrastructure funds, we would couple those to address the level one priorities in the current year.
When you say level one, and when you say fire, is that like your fire alarm not working or your sprinkler system needing repair?
Well, yes, so we have we have one building that is grandfathered in without fire alarms or fire suppression. Obviously, that's a concern, but we have additional buildings that have electrical issues related to the fire systems. So those are priority one items, obviously. Some of the items so this is not addressing everything on the list, because some of these items, when we open our new building, the Health and Sciences Center next fall, our science labs will move from the administration building into the new Health and Sciences Center, which will be tremendously helpful to not have chemistry labs in a building without fire suppression. We have kind of mitigation in place, but obviously there are concerns that we want to be sure that we're addressing and being as proactive as possible in dealing with these issues.
Who sets the priorities?
They're set by our Director of Physical Plant in partnership with Dr. Smith, our Vice President of Operations, and our Board of Trustees Facilities Committee.
But when you say priority one, is that what the state said to you, or?
Those are the ones that we've identified.
You identified,
Yes.
okay.
I might add that we have, for the last 30 years or so, in 1999, we finished the Fine Arts Building and so forth. And each time, that was about 10 or 15 years. That was the only thing that the board thought about, was getting that building and the resources and so forth. And then the next item that we actually planned for long range was this building. And things happened in between, such as REACH, the school system cooperation there, the technology thing. So now we're getting finally to what we planned. And the point about that is, we do not have a long-range building. We don't have another building that we're going to need anytime soon. We should be in good shape. So that will enable us to focus our attention on these things.
Okay, thank you. So you mentioned the quarter cent sales tax, and actually I pulled it up. There was a resolution passed right before the voters voted in, a resolution, and it said where the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners believe that education of the children and youth of Rutherford County through all levels of available public education, including traditional and charter public schools, and through the community college system, is a critical mission and priority. And that was the purpose of that. And if you go down to where the whereas, or now therefore it be resolved, that if the sales and use tax is approved, the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners are fully committed to invest all additional sales tax revenue received by passage of the public education sales tax referendum on, and this is the key, on critical public education capital facility needs.
Yes, sir.
And it's for those three areas that I just mentioned.
And that's why I wanted to be very clear that is separate from our operations request, because these would be funds that are specifically focused on meeting capital needs for the college.
In the past, we've used those funds as that stream's coming in to build the new RS Middle School. That was before us back in 2018, the RS Middle School, and the other building we're getting ready to do the ribbon cutting on, the bus garage and for the school system, that facility next to it. So that was the driver for this, to have a stream of funding available that would not require raising public property taxes to the people that pay property taxes.
Yes, sir, and because of the priorities, obviously, for those buildings to support the RS Middle School and other capital projects, we have received support from the commissioners for capital projects in the past, but it's been in smaller amounts over time. We are pleased to share that because of the support that we've gotten, and it's been, roughly $300,000 a year over the past several years. That preceded my arrival, but we are pleased to share that we have initiated the renovation of our library to make that a fully renovated library and learning resource center, a learning commons, if you will, to support student success, to support their academic success, and to make sure we're providing for their needs while they're enrolled in programs at the college. That is through the support that the commission has provided, so I am grateful for that support.
And as the commissioners are aware, we're aware that regarding the Court of sales tax, we are still financing debt service on other critical capital needs. So the capacity there is, I don't have that off the top of my head, so we'll have to see whatever capital capacity is available. So we're still on our way. We just started our budget season, but I appreciate you bringing that to our attention.
Certainly, thank you.
And then also and bringing the information on what your budget request would be for this upcoming year. So this is, any questions from the board?
You said level 1 was roughly 4 million. How many levels do you have?
So level 1, 4 million will not fully address all of the most critical needs, but it will address, again, because of the number of items on the list. By grouping them, we would be able to address the most critical issues. There are 3 levels. Level 1 is the last year mode of thinking, right? This needed to be replaced before last year.
Okay.
Level 2 is, this is imminent failure. We need to get to this very quickly. And level 3 is, this is something that we have on our radar, but is not going to
And do you know what
interrupt instruction.
Do you know what the division is between what's in level 2 and what's in level 3, fund-wise, money-wise?
So, Madeline, if you're recalling, I'm going to ask you to.
Yeah, it's not equal.
No.
Level 1 is probably the highest dollar amount.
So I would say probably about 24 million in level 1 projects.
Okay.
But again, some of those can be broken into pieces. And then, trying to think through, maybe, and this is roughly, having gone through it, 12,
14 million, yeah.
about 12 in level 2. And
10
then,
to 12.
and then the additional,
Yeah.
13 or so.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sir.
To add some texture to that, the prioritization was, the highest prioritization, which represents this 4 million here, was concern for the safety of our students, our faculty and staff, first and foremost. And so these were the most egregious needs that we need to have addressed.
Commissioners, any other questions?
It should be noted as well that that 50 million does not include beautification efforts to any extent. So it's simply right.
Does not include what?
Beautification.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Thank you.
Just to clarify.
Why was you staring at me when you said that? Are there any other questions or comments from the board? I would like to congratulate you for having your back-to-back increased in demand for your services.
Yes, that's great.
That's good. Good to see.
Thank you for
you meeting a need.
seeking funds elsewhere too. A lot of people don't do that.
Appreciate that.
It makes a difference when you go outside your box.
Well, again, we take it very seriously, being the college that serves our community, that we recognize the need and our responsibility in meeting that need. Our responsibility is to serve all members of the community and to help all members of the community in a way that is meaningful to them, right? The focus, you may, if you've seen any social media recently, you may have seen some new campaigns rolling out. You'll see truck driver training, a new program that we're starting to be able to serve not just day, but evening and weekend training opportunities to get people into careers that will immediately provide a family-sustaining wage. But you'll see advertisements in lots of new places, including on the side of those trucks, that focus on better skills, better jobs, and a focus on serving adults in our community also, to ensure that everyone is able to demand the fullest potential for labor market value, to bring the skills into the labor market so that they can earn as much as possible to support their families, and to do so with skills that are in demand locally.
And we're even offering drone pilot training. You can become a licensed drone pilot through Isothermal Community College. I think that's unique considering the time we live in. And we've got a
Becoming very
bunch of
popular.
stuff going on with AI right now.
Okay. Well, this is for discussion only. We're not taking action today. We really appreciate the dialogue. We'd like to thank your Board of Trustees on behalf of the county, and we appreciate the open dialogue that we've had over the last, well, always had, but the last 3 months, we've had conversations with your leadership team over these challenges. We knew they were coming. Even back when we're doing the $30 million request, you guys did come to the Board of Commissioners, and you did come to us and say, we need this. This is for a community, for us. You know, we really want this to happen, but you're going to be our last ask. I remember you guys saying that. You're going to be our last ask, as in you were going out to try to receive funding. And of course, we did a joint letter to the legislators, you know, which we were very grateful for, all of us, for that. So thank you for the teamwork, and thank you for bringing this to us as be part of our budget discussions in the next few weeks. So thank you.
Thank you.
If there's anything else, you guys can stay. We actually have to do some business for your power line in a few minutes. But if there's anything else you want to adjourn, Board of Trustees, or you want to hang out? Or?
We'll adjourn.
Okay.
We're good.
All right.
Give us time to leave, we'll leave. Thank you.
You can hang
Thank y'all for
with
being
us,
here.
but we have 3 other items we're going to move to real quick. Thank you, everyone, for being here.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Y'all ready to go to the next item?
Yep.
All right, Commissioners, next item is 4131. I'd like to recognize Paula Roach. Paula, this is a budget amendment for consideration to allocate funds for the Isothermal Community College capital outlay, assigned fund balance for relocation of underground utilities. So would you explain that?
The following budget amendment is here for your consideration. What this does is removes the brick wall and the transformer and gets some of the preliminary work that has to be done before the health sciences building can have their groundbreaking. This will move the underground utilities to a temporary connection, and then the follow-up, there'll likely be a budget amendment again in about 2 months for the balance of the project.
Okay,
They are currently getting a quote for it.
thank you. Are there any questions from the board?
Does the amount include both operations?
No.
Just the first
It
one?
includes phase 1 only. Phase 2 is likely to be around 300 to 350 to do the balance of the project, and that would move it to a permanent connection.
And that wasn't in any of the budget items that were mentioned just a few minutes ago?
It may have been on that larger list.
There's a.
No.
We'll recognize.
This is coming from our county capital reserve fund. So this is money that we have been putting aside specifically for
Okay.
this project, yes.
Okay.
So we are not asking for any new money for this.
Thank you for
This is
clarification.
budgeted money, actually. This is in the reserve.
Yes.
Yes, okay. Thank you.
And in the reserve, there's 200,000 in sales tax, 500,000 of the quarter-cent sales tax, so there's a total of 700,000 budgeted in this fund each year. So this is utilizing that money.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. All right, thank you. Commissioners, regarding the budget amendment, what's the will of the board?
Make a motion to approve it.
Second.
Got a motion second. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the question. All in favor, raise your right hand. Any opposed likewise? Carries. Thank you. 4134, NC Department of Public Safety designation of applicant's agent resolution. we have a fire marshal or somebody from that group here? Oh, look, we do.
Evening, Commissioners. My name is Jonathan Manus. I work for Emergency Management in the Fire Marshal's Office. The request was for a agent designation form to be completed as part of our process for our, excuse me, Building a Resilient Infrastructures and Communities grant. This will be for a joint EMS base and Emergency Management Fire Marshal's Office building, as well as on that same campus, building a new fire station for Spindale Fire and Rescue. The overall project will be somewhere in the area of $24.2 million for both buildings to be built.
Okay.
And so basically that form just acknowledges, an acknowledgement from the county saying that any project costs for construction, building plans and things like that fall on us directly, and then we'll be reimbursed from the state.
Understood. Thank you. And I appreciate, I love the effort that we're working together for the town of Spindale, and jointly like this, for this. Commissioners, before you is in action regarding the resolution, what's the will of the board?
I make a motion, we approve the resolution.
Thank you. Got a
Second.
Thank you. Got a motion second. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the question. All in favor, raise your right hand. Any opposed likewise? Carries. Thank you. We'll get your firehouse now. Okay, next item is 4135. This is regarding the PPDR. And Mr. Garrison's not here. So this is a memorandum of agreement between Rutherford County, North Carolina, and the state of North Carolina, and it's being presented to us for our consideration regarding PPDR. I'll recognize Richard. Any comments on the?
No, sir, other than there are still some terms that we have not settled on. It's entirely what their implications may mean, which is the reason why this is not a straight, and I'm not recommending that this is a straight approval of the document you have in front of you, but instead to authorize the county manager to continue to negotiate the terms with the MOA. Of course, the essential terms would be as presented here. There are some minor questions that we continue to have about the MOA. We have not yet gotten some answers.
Okay. There is a suggestive action before us already.
Yes, sir.
Along those lines. So this is, my understanding is with this new program, we will not be fronting any funding on this.
Yes, sir, that is our understanding. There are some terms in there, as I say, that we want to make sure
Okay.
that is the case before we sign on the dotted line.
All right. Well, this gets the ball moving.
Yes, sir.
All right.
At this, sorry,
No, you're,
at this point, do you have any timeline requirements that for sign up? Is it going to be a limited time? Are the residents going to have time to request this before the program runs out? Is there a clock on this?
And unfortunately, I don't know. I believe we're well within the timeline. That's about as much as I know on the details of the program itself. Unfortunately, I wish Steve were here. I think he has gained a lot more knowledge of what some of the specifics are. I'm looking to see if Paula, thank you. Paula is still here. She probably knows a lot more than I do about the answer to that one.
We met with North Carolina Emergency Management, Joe Stanton and his team about a week and a half ago. What we're doing with this agreement is the first step of the process to where instead of the contract being a direct contract with the vendor and the county and us having to pay the bills and float the money for the FEMA reimbursement process, because we've basically reached a financial capacity that we're comfortable with. So with the PPDR program, then they will actually manage the financial piece. The state will be paying the invoices and paying. We will still be involved with some consideration as to, is this vendor appropriate? And there will also have to be some working in tandem with the vendor. What they'll do is secure probably this similar vendor that we're currently using. Because as we demobilize road right-of-way and the waterway gets wrapped up come mid-June, July, then they'll be continuing to work some of the debris sites. So since the permits are under the county's name, then there will have to be a coordinated effort between us. I have asked some questions similar to what's in the agreement as to how will monitoring that we pay for those trees that come from the road or from the waterway, once it gets to the debris site and they're commingled with potentially their stuff that they're bringing from private property, then at what point and how will that tree be tracked and how will it be billed? So we're not sure if it'll have to be segregated at the debris site or if at that point then to help with cash flow, then will the state begin that process? Those are the little details that we have to work through because it'll be a coordinated effort. The state is calling this a SMART mission. What they've done is come up with state mission assignment recovery tasks. And they're trying to do this as to what program fits with what Western North Carolina needs to finish our recovery.
Do you know if this will be an online sign-up, or how will they get in line to have this service?
We're hopeful that it will be an online process as well as an in-person option available.
Okay.
I have requested, is there potential of having 1 day, 2 days a week or in person for somebody that's not tech savvy? Or if there's a series of documents you need to bring, can we have that as an in-person to help us filter through the program? We also will be working through our FEMA community liaisons. Evan Smith is here tonight, as well as one of the supervisors with FEMA. We'll still take, and all those people that have debris that's just outside of the road right away, and those that we have documented, there were several that had emailed into the debris email address that I had flagged as PPDR. So the state will be working those first and contacting those citizens to get them on the list and through the application process. But it will be a coordinated effort, and there has not been any deadlines or times given to us. But one would hope at least a 45 to 60-day application process, and then it may take 120 days to complete the process, depending on the applications.
That was my next
But
question.
it will be a process.
All right.
Thank you. Any other questions?
It's my understanding, though, that if you've got 100 acres or 500 acres or something, they don't go out there and try to fix that. They're literally, it's around the property, around your homes.
It is around your house and your
That's what I was
maintained
thinking.
areas.
Yes,
So
that
if
makes
it's in your
sense.
driveway, the property that you maintain, if it's across the road into an open field of trees that you don't maintain, then those would not be considered.
That makes great sense. Thank you.
But the teams that have been doing the intake and the monitoring company that helps with the intake with some of the other counties, they're well-versed in what fits the parameters.
Gotcha. All right, well, thank you. Any comments, members, board? Okay, commissioners, there's a suggestive action before you, and,
I make a motion that we authorize the county manager and the county attorney to negotiate the terms of the memorandum of agreement, or MOA, to authorize the county manager, the finance officer, the county attorney, the clerk of the board, and other county officials to sign and execute all documents in support of this action.
Second.
got a motion, a second, any discussion? Hearing none, call the question. All in favor, raise your right hand. Any opposed likewise? It carries. PPDR is on the way. All right, Commissioners, next item is 4132. I'd like to recognize Jay Doughty, our IT director. This is regarding iWork.
Good evening, Commissioners.
Yeah.
In cooperation with Director Cersey over the garage, we are seeking approval for a multi-year agreement for a new inventory and maintenance tracking system for the garage. Company's name is iWork. I guess it's pronounced iWork in a strange way. And they are a huge step above the current data collection software that we use now called Collective Data. This is a 4-year agreement. Price is roughly around what we've already been paying for maintenance for the current system, but gives us a ton more capability. Be happy to answer any questions or possibly punt to Director Cersey.
Does it keep track of, like if one department, DSS has all Dodge little caravans or something, and it keeps track of the parts that they're most used, and they were able to track down like that?
Yes, sir, as well as for scheduled maintenance items.
Right.
It has a schedule of when they need to be replaced and then alerts you that it's time.
That's what I
to
had
take
read
them.
that it did, so it's really a bigger pinpoint, or a better pinpoint of what we need, what we had.
It also has some geolocation services built into it, so we can start seeing.
Where it is.
We start losing tires or blowout tires, we can start tracking where certain things are happening. Also has tablet capability, so now instead of one worker having to manually enter records into the current system off of pieces of paper that are jotted down all day, they can actually have a tablet beside of them accurately track of information.
I'm guessing this is something that Luke and the other guys at the garage have been able to play with, and they're for it.
Yes, sir, we got access to a test environment, and they were able to go in and play and make sure that this was something that was going to be beneficial.
Awesome.
Any other questions? Commissioners, there is a suggestive action before you, and I look for the will of the board at this time.
I make a motion that we authorize the county manager and the county attorney to negotiate terms of the agreement and authorize the county manager, finance officer, county attorney, clerk to the board, and other county officials to sign and execute all documents in support of this action.
Thank you, Commissioner. Got a motion, need a second?
Second.
Got a motion, second, any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call a question. All in favor, raise your right hand. Any opposed, likewise, okay? You got it, thank you. Commissioner, got one more item, is to adjourn. What's the will of the board?
Make a motion, we adjourn?
Second.
Got a motion, second, any discussion? Hearing none, call a question. All in favor, raise your right hand. Any opposed, likewise, we are adjourned. Thank you.